Apparently the parents made the girl go to sleep with Skype on so they could check her and make sure no boys were in there. What is your worst experience with helicopter parents? Did I say it good enough that time, Mum?
No. Again.
I currently have a 6th grade student whose stepmother emails me on a daily basis. Good kid A in my class, no behavior problems, but yet I've had 94 emails from her this year, last I checked. Typically they are completely unnecessary and I just want to ask her, do you ever talk to your son? He could clearly answer 95% of her questions. Yet, she still sends me emails asking things like, what was the situation that caused them to be marked tardy to your class? And there is an assignment in the gradebook marked with a 00. It's titled Extra Credit Bonus Points. Please advise on how this will affect his grade. Just to show you how bananas this woman is, I've screenshot part of her kid's school profile. It shows that, since August, she has checked his grade 717 times. Holy hell. Your kid is 12, cut the cord and teach him personal responsibility. He's probably going to be one of those kids that turns into a hardcore rebel in high school because she won't give him any space. Part of me is glad to see a stepmother so involved. Part of me is like, dude, if you let go just a little, he'll show you amazing abilities. This one time we asked a child's father, who was, and probably still is, a high-ranking DEA agent, to give a speech to the students, and he showed up in a helicopter. I'm not a teacher, but that did actually happen when I was in school. The helicopter entrance was meant to get us excited, and it really did. Helicopters are awesome. Only awesome helicopter parent. Not a teacher but a classmate of mine had a mother like that. Let me tell you my boring story about stuck-up Allison and her mom in her Prada shoes in the middle of the South. Little Allison was top of her class, getting the best grades possible until one day, she came in 3rd place while I was 1st place. It was a competition about the wetlands and she wrote a long speech about why the wetlands are so important, blah, blah, blah. This is what I did. Got my poster distributed all over town. I was on the local news. I got an awesome certificate to Pizza Hut and a trophy. Her mother came by the next day and yelled at the teacher, yelled at the principal, took it all the way up to the superintendent because I didn't deserve 1st place. Her little Prada shoes couldn't handle her. BTW, this was 6th grade. I did my poster 5 minutes before school started. Edit, looked it up, it was 4th grade. Still makes me proud, though. All praise the supreme master of procrastination. You're making me blush. Stop it. I teach middle school English at a public school in Texas. I brought a mom in several months ago to discuss how her son had been plagiarizing. Poorly, I might add. But she only wanted to talk about his acting career. She pulled out a leather-bound portfolio stuffed with acting/modeling photos of her little angel and talked at me for an hour about each one. Cut to this week. He turns in a paper about his strongest childhood memory. It's a 2-page summary of every famous person he's acted with and what movies I would know them from now. Looking at the writing style and level of detail, the mom clearly wrote the essay. WTF. What do you do about that in middle school? I mean, in college you basically have a carte blanche to fail anyone for any suspected or actual reason, but I can't even imagine sending a middle school level paper home with "F your mom wrote this" on it. Or you could phrase it "F you, I suspect you had your mom write this." I teach 3rd grade. One of my kids, who made A's on nearly everything, had gotten an 87 on a creative writing assignment. The morning of the day after I passed the papers back to them, she came up to me looking a little embarrassed and said her mom was going to come in around noon to talk to me about the grade. Past teachers had warned me that this girl had a helicopter mom, but I hadn't had any bad experiences with her yet and we were a couple months into the school year. Sure enough, right as the lunch bell was about to ring, the door bursts open and in storms helicopter mom. She looked furious. I could tell she was about to lay into me in front of my entire class, but then a piercing metallic shriek hit my ears. One of her rotors had clipped the wall and she just started falling apart and spinning out of control. A rotor flew across the room and killed 2 and injured 3, and then she crashed into our terrarium and burst into flames, killing the class's pet frog Scooter, and shrapnel from the wreckage peppered the front row of kids. R.I.P. Scooter. We pulled a child who was allergic to eggs out of a lab in which eggshells were broken down by vinegar, then the eggs were placed in hypertonic solutions to illustrate cell membrane action. The parent flipped a shit that his child missed 2 lab periods, although we'd prepared handouts, gone over the relevant info with the kid, and sent him along to the library so he wouldn't die of anaphylactic shock. Geez, We're trying to save your kid's life, here. 2 lab periods in the 7th grade won't make a big diff. Allergic to eggs? That would ruin my life. I effing love eggs. I love effing eggs. During my student teaching I had a student whose mother was the definition helicopter parent. He was supposedly gifted, so she made sure to inform us we were wrong in our grading if he received anything less than an A. She would come in every morning and unpack his backpack for him. If she was there for lunch, she would spoon feed him. This was a 3rd grader. Not a teacher, but my husband is. Ever tried to teach history to the child of parents who were Holocaust deniers? Do you know any more of this story? I've never actually met a Holocaust denier, and I'd love to hear about that thought process. Mostly cause I can't even fathom that level of ignorance. My aunt works in the housing department at UW-Madison. She once fielded a call from a woman who wanted to know who would be making her daughter's bed and how much they would be charging. I believe my aunt and her coworkers decided $200 a week was a high enough price to get the lady to F off, but she agreed to pay it. No idea what happened next. Hopefully there's a happy ending and some broke-ass kid got $200 a week making some rich girl's bed. Oh, I would clean her sheets for $200 a week, clean her sheets real good. That's why her sheets will smell strongly of bleach. I am a percussion coach for a youth band program at the local university. While chatting with the kid's mom for the first time, she wrote down notes on me and my co-worker. The kid later told me that she compiles personality profiles of every person that is ever in charge of her kids. I'm not entirely sure why, but out of every parent I've read about in this thread, I hate this one the most. I'm not a teacher, but I work in student affairs at a college, and we had a parent who called the president of the college because her daughter had not called her back in 12 hours. The student had gone out with friends the night before and forgotten her cell phone, so her mom called the school in a panic the next morning wanting us to track down her daughter. Who's in college? I am in college. A friend of mine called her mother every time she went to class, after she got out of class, after she ate breakfast/lunch/dinner, and before going to bed. If she didn't call, her parents were knocking on her door. Couldn't watch an entire movie with her without her mom checking up on her or her calling her mom. I think this explains all the boy issues she has. She's an overly attached girlfriend with mommy/daddy issues. We had an employee whose mother called her daughter's manager, tracked home phone via phone book, because the daughter stayed out all night at the work Christmas party and didn't call home. The daughter was 30 years old. My freshman year roommate's parents would drive down to school every time their daughter didn't answer their calls. Made for a couple of awkward Friday nights. I heard a story like this on TV. The daughter eventually had to get a restraining order against her parents. They put keylogging software on her computer and cell phone and dropped in on her all the time. She was granted the restraining order and they stopped paying her tuition, so the school gave her a full scholarship. Even if not true, makes me smile. I go to that school, and have heard all about it. Apparently the parents made the girl go to sleep with Skype on so they could check her and make sure no boys were in there. I heard a couple other things, but now, whenever I feel like my parents are being overbearing, I think on this. At least it's never so bad that I need a restraining order. Not a teacher but a witness to helicopter/stage momming. When I was in high school, the director of the musicals always cast her daughter as the lead in every play even though she was awful. I challenged her on it when I was elected vice president of the club, which was a student vote she had no control of, and I was never cast in a show again. Flash forward to this girl getting accepted to college. The mom applies for a teaching job in the theater department of the school she's attending. I hate that woman to this day. Edit. I should also mention she ran a side business she called the Audition Club, wherein she scammed people into paying her for audition info and stuff. We live in the tri-state area near NYC. She'd basically go buy a Backstage magazine, listing source for acting jobs, and email it out to people and charge them for it. Anyone can spend $2.95 on a Backstage. Ladies and gentlemen, a slight change in tonight's performance of Les Miserables. Every character will now be played by Stephanie. That is all. I'm not a teacher, but I remember my 5th grade teacher wanted to show us the first Harry Potter movie. Some mom claimed it supported witchcraft or something and that her child wasn't allowed to watch it. Anyways, our class ended up not watching it. Edit. The kid was a nice guy, and it really wasn't his fault. Just the mom was such a terrible helicopter mom. I taught ESL to a bunch of high schoolers, many of which were at an SAT level. There was this one kid who was incredibly fluent and would write wonderful essays in my class. However, his mother wasn't satisfied. She forced him to write a 10,000-word essay every single day. Now, she had never learned a foreign language, didn't speak English, I don't think she even graduated from college. But she would, through her son and other translators, give me an earful on how I was being too easy on the students because I wasn't making them do 4 hours of homework a night. And this poor kid. This unfortunate, 14-year-old bastard who was fluent in 2 languages and was ready to take the SATs in a language not his own ended up getting worse and worse at writing. He would repeat things again and again just to get the word count, because his mother would check the essays every night. Well, she'd check the numbers. She wouldn't be able to read the paper. He would lie and make up stories, interjecting them at weird places. He did absolutely miserably in his exams because he wouldn't take my advice to stop writing when you've run out of things to say. That is incredibly sad. Please hit that thumbs up button if you really liked the video. Oh. And subscribe. And my mom also said to tell you guys to please leave a comment of your own stories and share this video with some of your friends. Can I play FIFA now, Mom? I'm done voicing over.
Of course, my special boy. Mommy loves you.